My name is Natasha Phipps. I am an investment specialist, realtor, and team leader here in Calgary, Alberta. I'm joined here by several of my team members. I don't know about everyone. Kim, say hi.
Hello, I'm Kim.
That's Kim. We've got Andrea Berg, who is currently my assistant, as well as will be getting her real estate license. So she's here tonight. Many of you maybe have spoke to her as she scheduled things for me. We have Andrea Tessier here, I believe somewhere there she is.
Hi.
As well, and then Shay McLeod here. She's from Ontario, but her and I we do a lot of business and work together as well. So she's like part of the team, even though she's not here in Calgary. So Shay is here.
Hi, everyone.
And I don't think Alex or Dana are here yet, but you may see them popping in. I think Dana actually had a show tonight. But anyway, so we are an investment focused realtor team here in Calgary, Alberta. I only do investment sales. This is all I think about every day. And yeah, we want to try to give back to the community as much as we can and provide as much knowledge and accessible information, as well as provide networking opportunities for all of our amazing clients. So these investor social events, since used to be in person prior to COVID, but since that we've been doing them on Zoom, and they've been a lot of fun. So you can expect these every month with a different topic. And tonight it's joint ventures. So I'm very excited about this topic. Highly requested. We were supposed to do this in August, and just summer took over and didn't happen. So I apologize for that, but here we are. So looking at the poll here, this is the kind of stuff I really want to know is who's here. So we had about 80% of the people say they've never done a joint venture, and 15% say they've kind of done a couple. No one clicked the JV master button, and then one person did ask, why would I do a joint venture? And that is a really important question to ask, because there is obviously a lot of pros and cons, and who is this good for? So we're going to talk about all of that. Again, please put your questions in. Oh, here's Alexandra Sell, also part of the team, just joining in here. So she's coming in. So again, please put your questions in. Love it if the cameras are on and you're engaged. And what we can expect tonight is I gave a sort of a similar talk for the Real Estate Investment Network in August. So I kind of condensed that a little bit. That was an hour-long thing. So I'm going to try to be shorter, but I kind of wanted to give my take on joint ventures. And I don't want this to be too complex. I don't want this to be complicated, because I find a lot of what people consume with courses and classes, and it almost becomes too big of a hill to climb. And it's kind of, takes away it as a tool, and it almost becomes like a burden, like something really difficult to do successfully. So we're going to try to take all that out of it, make this simple and attainable for you. And we'll also talk about the pros and cons and everything in between. So we do have a few people here I wanted to mention as well. Constantine, are you here? Oh yeah, there you are.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hi. So if you don't know who Constantine is, why don't you give yourself a brief introduction, and then maybe at the end we'll do some Q&A with you as well, because I know you have a lot of value to add here.
Yes, we are private lenders. We have some cash to lend in the projects in Alberta and BC. So if you have a deal, we have money.
That is, and this is a big one, right? Like, people decide, am I going to borrow private money, or am I going to find a joint venture partner? And so that is a decision you have to make when you reach a point where you cannot get traditional financing anymore. And, I'm going to pull up the slides here, but I think it's a really common sort of thing when we're getting into real estate investing. We're trying to grow our portfolio, and it kind of seems like you go into these groups and you're like, oh, I own 20 doors. I did 20 doors this year. And it's like, oh my God, like, how do people possibly get from buying their first couple of properties to 20 doors or 10 doors? And the reality is they cannot do it on their own. Most people run out of money at some point in time, whether that's from day one or deal 5 or 10 or whatever. So getting to the point of being comfortable with joint ventures and or going to the private money route, and you're going to make the numbers work on your own, is really the two ways to kind of make this work. So focus on joint ventures today, but we will bring that up as well. Do you lend? Oh, yes. Yeah. In Alberta and BC, he can help you. We did a video or an interview with, when was that? Was that last week? We did a interview with Constantin last week, I think it was, and we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. If you haven't seen that, go watch that. But okay, let's get the show on the road here. Here we go. Move you guys over here. So here we go. First things first, like I talked about, please feel free to ask questions. If I go through something too quick and you want to dive into it more, or you have a thought, like, let me know. I want to hear from you. Feel free to unmute, jump in, tell me what you think. And I think we'll all learn more that way and be able to get more out of this evening. Now, to start off, like, I am not some huge authority on this topic either. I have used joint ventures on my own personally for my own transactions. My husband and I have we built infills for several years. That was all through joint venture partnerships. We were home builders and used joint venture money to be able to successfully pull those projects off. We have used joint venture capital for a lot of our renovation type projects and some buy and hold properties. So I've used it for a few different mediums over the years, but I'm not claiming to be like someone who's done 1,000 joint ventures, but I want this again to be simple because I think people overcomplicate this and skip over the important parts. And for me personally, when I've kind of applied what I'm going to kind of talk about tonight, this works very well when you take some of the noise out of it. So we're going to talk about what is a joint venture and obviously building your network, what that's all about, how to collaborate with other people, and how to do your homework. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what is a joint venture sorry, I think these slides were out of order. Sorry about that. I already did my intro. Technically, on paper, a joint venture is a commercial enterprise undertaken jointly by two or more parties. It doesn't have to be just two people, which otherwise retain their identities. So you're retaining your own identity and joining forces. Where people tend to get, kind of confused or lost is they go, well, what's the partnership split? Like, that's the first thing people ask me is, well, is it 50-50? Is it 60-40? Is it 70-30? And the most annoying part about that for most people is the answer is always like, it depends. It's not the same for every deal, because the important part about learning how to do joint ventures properly is learning what you bring to the table. And that answer might not be the same for me or you or someone else. So learning about yourself, what is your value proposition, what you're bringing to the table, and also with your partner, right? And the answer might not be the same. So, oh yes, thank you for linking that interview. That was a great interview. So there is no one answer. This can mean a lot of different things. It could involve multiple parties. It could be residential real estate, commercial real estate, and you can combine strategies as well. Like some people combine, rent to own with joint venture partnerships, very commonly done. So try to kind of expand your horizons a little bit. And I kind of want to talk about who the joint venture idea is good for. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. Sorry about that. Because this is a really interesting question too. And in a joint venture partnership, you probably have two different people who have two different needs or wants. Potentially one partner, like very traditionally, have one partner who's going to do all the work and finds the deal and manages the tenants and the renovations and the projects. And then you have another partner who, maybe has the capital, can get the mortgages, but really does not want to take on any work. So those are kind of a nice, marrying of skill sets, of goals. But the really important part is, like, does everything else line up, right? Does it seem like a good fit or not? We're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but that's the first question you should be asking yourself is, does this seem like a good fit? Could you see yourself, maybe hanging out with these people? You're going to be talking to them for years to come. So you want to make sure that this is someone that you genuinely like and want to do business with first and foremost. But that's kind of the more traditional. That's how most of my joint venture partnerships have been done, is like working partner, financial partner. But very commonly too, you have kind of equal partners where maybe they're sharing the capital coming to the table, they're sharing the mortgage and title holding position together. So that's possible too. But most commonly when you see people doing dozens of deals, they cannot get more mortgages on their own. And so they turn to joint venture partnership because the banks are saying, no, like, you've got your 10 mortgages or whatever it is, we're not giving you any more, or they've run out of capital and need to go to joint ventures. This is very commonly what people have to do when they reach a certain point. So joint ventures, absolutely the way to get there. And people who are just kind of starting to think about this go, well, why would someone, give me, no one's giving you anything, but the thought is, why would they give me the capital and tie up the mortgage and do all this, if they could do it on their own? And you would be very surprised. People don't want to do it on their own. They don't want to do the work. If they want to do the work, they already be doing it. But very commonly, they're not getting very good returns in their portfolios at the bank, or, their RSPs or their just GIC that's sitting around there. Like, you'd be surprised how much money is just sitting out there in the world, not earning very good returns. So if you can give them the opportunity to earn, instead of, a few percent, maybe earning 10% or 8%, that's appealing. Like, why not? Right. So finding people with common interest in terms of real estate goals, and they like real estate investing, but the joint venture structure could be very variable, and you could have multiple people in it. So keep your kind of ideas open with that. And then who the joint venture is good for, obviously on the money side, people bringing money to the table is often people who love real estate. They are maybe further along in their investing career, or they're approaching retirement, or they just don't want more work, but they love real estate, right? So they're happy to invest in real estate, but they want someone to do the work for them and take care of things. And they don't want to hear about tenants and toilets and, contractors and whatever else. So very common. And there is plenty of opportunity out there to find these type of people and kind of, marry your needs together. So that's what a joint venture is. You can go into tons of details and about how to structure contracts. We won't have time to do that today. But at that point, when you're getting in, if you have a partner and you're getting into details and contracts and all that, you're going to a lawyer anyway. Hopefully you're going to a lawyer anyway, and they will be, taking you through all those procedures. If you ever need just like a kind of a starter joint venture agreement, let me know. I do have one. Actually, I'll be showing it in a little bit as well. So if there's any comments on that, let me know. If not, we are going to kind of talk about building your, this Zoom thing's in the way. Building your money and your time and your expertise. And this is a really common kind of like matrix to consider. I think what Rain calls it, they call it the matrix, but knowing where you fall in this. And so most people that have money or most are commonly looking for the money partner. That's what we find kind of most of our people who are asking about joint ventures. They're looking for money partners. They may be struggling to find money partners, so they're not going about it the right way. And again, bringing to the table, what are you bringing in terms of the working partner and money partner, and getting clear on that, like write it down, write what your value proposition is, so that if I ask you like, okay, maybe we could do a project together, like what part of the deal would you like to be responsible for? Like, what kind of tasks do you want to be responsible for? And don't sugarcoat the things you're not good at. Like, I love people that say, this is not for me. Like, this part I'm not great at, but this, managing a job site, finding deals, whatever it is, like, be clear on what you're good at. And typically both sides are bringing some sort of expertise together and to create a common vision. So get clear on what these things are for you with your money and your time and your expertise. It could be, I've got no money, I've got plenty of time, I've got some expertise, or any combination of those could be, I got plenty of money, but I got no time, cannot, find the time. So you want to find someone who has some experience in real estate, has some drive in real estate, and wants to spend the time to make these things work. I just had a message come in here. Oh, no. Okay. That's okay. So get clear on that. I suggest writing it down, because what the other thing that I have found very commonly with most people is they undervalue themselves. They go, well, I've only done 4 deals. Like, what? You've done 4 deals? Like, that's amazing, right? That's great. That is a lot. Then that is a whole lot compared to probably whoever you're talking to. So give yourself the credit, even if you've done 0 deals. The fact that you're here, the fact that you've done courses and read books and all this other stuff, like, people don't give themselves enough credit all the time. They're hard on themselves. So, if you need to even put on paper every course you've done, every book you've read, everything you've attended, like, it will add up to a lot, most likely, for most of the people that I know in this room. So give yourself the credit because you've put in the time and energy. So, like, believe in that. But I find that is something that people struggle with. Then as you go, even if you've done 1 deal, have something to show people, right? Like, you've got, like, tell your story. It couldn't be easier right now to tell your story by using social media. Or I know, William, you're doing a lot of great written work I've seen lately, right? You're using written posts to kind of tell your story and give your expertise. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I signed up for a marketing program a few months ago, and I want to show people that I want to show my expertise and just educate people.
Yeah. And here's the thing. First of all, William didn't know I was going to call him out. He didn't even know that I was probably reading his posts or that I've seen them. But the fact that I have seen them and I remembered, right? Even though I haven't reached out to him to say, hey, this is great, like, keep it up. People watch what you're doing. People see what you're doing. But when you're kind of feeling like alone on an island, it feels like no one is watching, but they are. I promise you they are. So tell people what you're doing, make it public, make it shareable. Don't hide behind closed doors. Tell people what you're doing. Even if you've done, no deals yet, still talk about a book you read or this event or whatever it is, or someone you talked to that was interesting. So that is really, the key to establishing yourself as an expert. And that's what it's all about, in my opinion, because then you're not out there, raising or asking people for money. You know your own value proposition. You've spent time on it. You've educated yourself. You're someone who deserves to be invested in just as much as they do, right? So you're both bringing equal things to the table. So very common. I find people downplay this. Can anyone relate to that? Nod heads. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Very common. I do it too. And then when I literally, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this done. I've got a deadline, I got to get this done. I gotta find this, finalize a partner or a deal or whatever. And when I really get the focused energy in it, it almost always works out. So believe in yourself, get the focused energy in there. Yeah, definitely. Super common. And I think when we're in these spaces, and there's so many real estate groups and seminars and things out there now, we think everyone thinks like us, but they don't. they really don't. We're a small portion of the population, but to us, because we're in these types of rooms all the time, it seems like, well, this is just common knowledge. And unless I have 20 doors, then, I don't really know. I can't give myself that type of credit. Like, no. And if you ever need a pep talk, give me a call. Because we all need a pep talk every now and then. So get clear on all of these items, your money, time, your experience, and tell people about it first and foremost. And thanks, William, for letting me call on you there, because that was such a good example. He had no idea that I'd been reading his stuff, but I remembered it and thought about it and go, that's working, and he also found what was good for him. So that's the other thing is my only kind of, maybe going a little bit of a rant or a tangent here, is my only kind of concern sometimes with, specific courses or whatever is, you have to find what works for your personality, and what works for Williams might not work for me, or vice versa, or whatever it is. And so finding whatever that structure is, or type of, sales, like, I hate to kind of use that word because that, that doesn't really sit well with a lot of people, but really finding what is, sits well with you, and what is a way to communicate that feels comfortable and authentic to you. That's how you need to do it. That's my only issue with these courses that say do, steps 1 to 50, and then you'll have X, Y, Z. Like that may only work for 10 to 15% of the people there because they're the same personality type of whoever wrote that book or strategy or whatever. So not to knock it, it's not going to be for everyone. So make sure whatever it is you're doing is authentic to you and feels right. And also know, your strengths, like we just talked about. So, like I work very well under pressure, but not everybody does. Like I like a deadline and a timeline, and I can't sleep till it's done. So it's going to get done. So knowing that about yourself, really, 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 really good to get clear on, and knowing what that is for you. So I hope you guys can relate to that. Yeah. Be authentic, be yourself, always 100%. Oh, and now I'm not seeing everyone's messages there. Okay. So this is the bulk of what I think gets overlooked with raising joint venture money. It's the relationship. That's it. Like we could just end it there. This is everything. And you could spend weeks, hours, days, months, and years developing the perfect presentation, the perfect pro forma, the perfect deal. And if you do not have this down pat, you have just wasted your time, in my opinion. Anyway, people will work with you no matter if it's anything. Like think about when you hire someone or you want to work with someone, you work with them because you like them. And this is everything. This is everything to me. And I think this is where the time needs to be spent. This is maybe a little bit easier or harder for you, depending on maybe, the career type you're in, or how you do talking to people, like whether that makes you nervous or you're comfortable there. And everyone is somewhere along that spectrum, but I can guarantee you, this is the hardest part for everyone. I promise you, because often we get in a situation, go, okay, I got a deal, or I want to raise some money, or I want to get here. And especially when you're talking to someone outside of our world, our little real estate investors bubble, where we all know a lot, right? We forget this part and we jump into numbers and presentation and return on investment and look at this and look at that. And you're excited because you've got something here, but the other person has no idea what you're talking about. They haven't done everything you've done. And so I find, like, when I ask people, like, well, what happened? Like, well, why didn't the meeting go well? Or why didn't the call go well? Or why didn't the conversation go well? And usually I find people spend way too much time on that part and not near enough time on the relationship part. And this is kind of my mentality for sales. Like I'm a realtor. I'm a commission-based income, but I couldn't even tell you how many homes I sold this year, but I could tell you how many people I talked to this week, because I care so much about the relationship and the people. And this is the part I love, is talking to people. And so the relationship, it comes first, and everything else will come second. So, I think people kind of talk people out of these deals because they don't understand it. Whereas if you just said, kind of build the relationship and then go to just the basics, like we talked about at the very beginning, maybe asking them about if they are interested in hearing about other opportunities, that can work well. So as realtors, we talk to people all the time. We, like if you call me to come list your house, for example, I won't sit at your table and give you a big long presentation. I won't even have a presentation. I'm going to have a few little things, market data, stats, and whatever. But most of the time, we're going to talk about you and what you need and what you're trying to do with your life. And this is no different. So if you're talking to someone as a potential partner, like just ask them about them and talk less about you, because that's why they will invest with you. Does that resonate with anyone? Yeah. Yeah. It's, oh, someone raised their hand. Who raised their hand?
Oh.
I can't see. Why can't I see when my screen is shared? Did someone raise their hand or no? If you did, just feel free to talk.
It says iPhone.
Oh, whose iPhone? Maybe it was a mistake. Okay. Well, if you did want to talk, great time too, if you want to.
Yeah. Finding out what other people want is like a key ingredient to everything.
100%. So, and I find all these sales books, like You know, even for realtors and anyone in sales, they spend so much time in these books and these novels and these courses telling you how to present something. Like, they're not telling you how to, they're not giving you advice on how to talk to people. And the reality is most people want to talk about themselves, what they're trying to do. They're talking about someone else's money. They want to talk about what their goals are, not about what your goals are. It's about what they need out of their money, because it's their money. Partners need to know, like you, and trust you 100%. That is really it. So this is your, like, you know, kick in the butt reminder about that, because it's so easy to get in your head that it's about the numbers and it's about how hard did I work on this pro forma. And I will show you what I use to raise money. Just up, you know, I use this right now this year. I've closed several deals with this process, and it's not complicated. It's very simple. If anything, it's rudimentary, because I don't want it to be complicated. I don't want it to seem salesy. And I've got this big pitch for you. Like, no, I'm not pitching you something. I've got this deal. I like the numbers. Do you like the numbers? And do we like each other? That's it. So this is where you, in my opinion, should be spending most of your energy. And the other parts of finding deals, there's always deals. There's always things to invest in, depending on what strategies you're looking for. There's always things. So spend your energy here. Yeah, reputation is hard to build. It takes years and easy to lose. 100%. This is like, this is huge for at least how I kind of look at things. There's people who are doing things a whole lot faster than me, a whole lot, you know, bigger, better, whatever. But if I lose this part, or I'm not comfortable with it, then it isn't right. So, and again, like we saw with William, people are watching you. Whether you think they are or not, they are watching. So be aware of that all the time. The relationship is everything. And if you can't see yourself, you know, having these people over for dinner or having a hard conversation with them, even if you are the one trying to raise the money, don't do the deal. It is not worth it. There's plenty of money out there. There's no shortage of money. There's no, like, so get that out of your head if that's what you're thinking, because there is no shortage of money, but there is, you don't want, you know, you're getting married to someone for a few years. Like, you know, but usually people do 5-year deals, right? Like maybe it's 3 years, but regardless, like you want to like these people. So that's my kind of go-to. Could I have these people over to my house for dinner? And if so, then yeah, money marriages, exactly. Hashtag money marriage. We should coin that. I like that. So that's how I look at it. So this is the biggest thing, is building your network. So as we saw at the beginning, a lot of people said they've never done this before. It could not be easier to build your network as it is these days. There is no shortage. This is a great example of it. We've got just under, 40 people here today, but there's these types of events all the time. There's your, circles of friends and sphere and everyone else, of how to build a network. And the secret to building this network is the soft kind of approach, in my opinion. Tell people what you're doing, build yourself as the expert if this seems right for you. And those people will start asking you questions. They will pop up and start asking questions. Again, this is what works, or what I think works for me and would work for a lot of personality types. But people struggle with this. So let people know what you're doing. And then I also tell people, just ask people, hey, if they ask you about real estate, or this looks cool, or they like your post, or whatever it is, if someone even puts a like on something of what you're talking about real estate, send them a message like, hey, thanks so much for thanks for supporting me. In the future, you could ask if this is someone you would want to do business with. Would you ever want to see some JV opportunities that we have? Simple as that. You don't need to go and get super aggressive and say, I've got this deal tomorrow. Start building up a list. You'd be surprised what a short list of 20 people could do that have shown you some interest. And those conversations will lead elsewhere. They'll go, oh yeah, but I don't know what I could qualify for, or isn't real estate risky, or whatever it is they bring up. Then you can start having those conversations. So I think this works very well, particularly if you're newer and if you're not comfortable with being maybe a little bit more aggressive out there, because you don't want to come off like you're trying to sell your friends and family anything, right? So this is a way to do it, and just talk plainly and clearly. Be yourself. But this is the hardest one here at the bottom. Push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Post what you don't want to post. Talk about what you think no one wants to hear about. And I promise you they do. And I promise you they are watching, even if they don't comment. But if anyone does support you in any way, the people I've seen do this best, like they're great. They will literally send you a comment. Thank you so much for liking my post, or thank you so much for attending my whatever you're doing, right? Like be grateful and lead with gratitude, and like you will stand out. You will absolutely stand out, because most people don't do that. So the comfort zone thing is, yeah, you're getting into financial bed with them. The comfort zone thing is it's hard for people. Depending, again, usually I find on their career, if they're not used to talking to people, or they don't have to do any of that for their maybe day-to-day job, right? So you're pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, and take those opportunities. So in a little bit, near the end of this, I do want to hear from some of you guys. Even if you don't have a deal to pitch, like, let's talk about what you want to do. What would you tell someone if someone asked you? What would you do with a possible partner? Practice talking about real estate with your spouse, your friends, or whoever, and then do what's comfortable. I promise you that is where the magic is, and it is scary and it's terrifying, but you will not regret it. What was that one? I think I missed one message. Oh yes, absolutely. Constantine, he was just mentioning that he does have some resources for us as well. He does have a sample joint venture agreement we can use, some tips, and the Smith Maneuver book as well. He said he's willing to give the Smith Maneuver book away to 5 people who stayed at the end and are interested in that book. So thank you so much. That is, if you have not read the Smith Maneuver book, like, go read that. It will blow your mind. It'll blow your mind, and you'll be like, wow, wish I would have known this 20 years ago. So thank you so much for offering that. That's awesome. We'll absolutely take you up on that offer for sure. So this is one, being in sales, I hear no a lot. I hear no a lot, or no, it's something that I'm used to, and I don't take offense to it. It isn't the right time for you, or whatever it is. But if you're not used to this, if you're not used to maybe someone hearing no, like just know that it'll be uncomfortable. But it's okay. Like, it's okay. Those are not the right people for you. Those are not the people you're going to partner with. You want someone who's going to partner with that's excited, that can't wait to, to talk about next steps and how to get there. And the reality is you may need to talk to many people to find those people. If this was as easy as just making a couple calls, like, we all probably wouldn't be here. we all probably would be just, retired and bringing in all our cash flow, right? So this isn't super easy, and I want to be supportive about this, but also know this is very normal. Like, it's very normal to not feel comfortable with this. It's very normal to kind of have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. And again, if you need a pep talk on that, like, give me a call. Happy to do that, because it can be discouraging, or you can feel stuck, and then you do nothing, and then it's like, damn, another year went by, or whatever it is, right? So you will find the right people that you're meant to work with. I fully believe that. But you need to be okay to move past those no's and keep going. And you'll find the right people. So now I want to talk about this a little bit, and then I'm just going to show you my example template of what I use to raise money and how I do this. So, and again, you don't have to do it my way. It's just to give you an idea. So building your network, we talked a little bit about that, how you're going to do that, or how you could do it. There's many ways you could do it. But this is a really common question I get. At what point do I find a partner, before or after I have the deal? What point do I find the deal? Do I find the partner and then the deal? Like, how do I do this? If you have no network, or no, maybe short list of people who could be possible candidates for you, like, you don't have that list of 20 people who have said, yeah, I'd like to maybe look at JV opportunities with you in the future, or that you've pre-qualified in some sort of way, or at least have, spoke to about this, then you probably really want to spend some energy developing some sort of, list. But my answer to this is, what is your personality like? Like, as I told you, I work very well under pressure, but I also have quite extensive network that, because I've been talking about this I'm 39. I bought my first place when I was 20. So, and I did my first like kind of joint venture partner was just before I was 22. So it's been a long time. I have talked to a lot of people. So what works good for you? If you do not work well under pressure and that doesn't like motivate you and get you going, then know that about yourself and have the joint venture partner ready, then go get the deal. If having, a bit of a list of people and you go find the deal and then that kind of lights a fire under you and you're going to go, trying to kind of get it done, then great. Like I'm not necessarily opposed to either one. What you don't want to do is write deal after deal after deal and none of them work out, because then it gets harder to find deals. It gets harder to get brokers excited, realtors excited, all those things. Like you also can't just, write deal after deal after deal and dozens later and expect, things to be the same as they were on day one. So know yourself well. It's okay if things don't work out, but know and be honest with yourself about this part of it from day one. And I can't kind of tell you that for you. You kind of got to know that about yourself. So that's kind of my 2 cents there. If you, let me see here. Liz, I missed Liz's comment. What did she say? Yes, Liz, that's exciting. Life begins outside the comfort zone, 100%. Yeah, Liz, I would love to hear from you in a little bit and tell your story a little bit. That's awesome. So, and this gets easier. The first one is going to be the hardest, and then it gets easier. So just keep going with it, stick to it, and find people who are doing a similar thing as you, so you can, support one another. It really helps to have an accountability partner. So now we're going to talk about, if you have the deal, what do you present? What do you give to people? I talked about earlier how you don't want to like overwhelm people either and give them, you don't want to give them an hour-long presentation. It's just, you're going to lose them after 10 minutes when they don't, they're not in the same situation as you. So these are some questions to ask yourselves. Like, what do you need to know about the opportunity? And then what do they need to know about the opportunity? Because those things, if you're the working partner, what you need to know and all the things you need to research and all your due diligence you need to do, you're not putting that on your partner. So those are maybe 2 different lists. So figure out what those are, and that might change depending on the project. Things you can do to build trust. I find also, like, nobody likes anyone selling them something, but they also don't like anyone selling them something that only talks about the positives. Okay. Talk about the cons. What are the risks? Put it all on the table. Because there's all kinds of things that can go wrong, or not be quite as we hoped, or whatever it is. Put it all on the table and be open with that. There's nothing more that builds trust with someone than when they point out to me, what could go wrong, or I didn't notice something and my contractor says, well, hey, did you notice this? Like that, don't paint some rosy picture either. Explain why you love this deal. And obviously you've handpicked it for a reason, but also point out the risks and what the cons could be, and there could be things that you just don't know yet. So don't shy away from that. Yeah, good point. Tennis, find out what they are looking for in a real estate deal. 100%. Like, know who you're talking to and what they're looking for. And this goes back to the very beginning, right? When you're having those initial conversations, you're not talking about yourself, you're talking about them. So super, super good advice. Be honest. Don't oversell. Don't inflate your numbers. Don't get creative and go, oh, I think I can do this for, $5,000 instead of 10, whatever. Like, don't. You're just going to set yourself up for failure. And the great thing is if things go, reasonably on track, or even if they go off track and you kind of keep that as your baseline, you're going to kind of always be open and honest about these things. People will invest with you time and time again. So keep that in mind. Like you're trying to build a long-term relationship. Remember, we're building a marriage here. We're building, we need a good foundation with all of the building blocks, no different than you have with your friends or your spouse or whoever. You want to build that foundation. So really good advice. Okay, so I'm going to show you here what I work with. We'll go over this soon. So again, we talked about doing your homework. Most of you here have done quite a bit of research about real estate investing, from what I know of who's here. So you know how to probably analyze numbers. If you don't, that's a whole different day. We can do that. But obviously be prepared, explain why you're excited and why it's a good opportunity. Because likely you've maybe scanned through however many deals and you've chose this one for a reason. So why? Like make sure you know why. And does it match, as Dennis said, this particular joint venture partner's goals? Does it match? If it doesn't, maybe that's not the right joint venture partner. So you're going to know at this point, what does the investor need to know about the property? You're going to compile your basic but useful info. Does not have to be fancy. This is important. Now, if you are a engineer and a spreadsheet master and you are like, this is your jam, then great. You can make this as fancy as you want. But if you are not, like most of us are not, then you just make it simple and have something, right? Have something to show that has the basic information that we need. Because I've seen people like, okay, I'm ready to like, put this under contract and show my joint venture partner. It's like, okay, that house sold 10 days ago. we are long past that being an option now. So you do need to be able to kind of like move quick a little bit. Once you do, a couple of these though, you'll, even if they don't work out, you'll kind of have your template of what you're comfortable with. And I'll show you what mine is. It's very simple. So 1 second here. Oh gosh, I keep going the wrong direction here. And again, we're going to explain what we love about the deal, why is it worth it, and show the investor why they can trust you. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second and show you my Google Drive. So this, this is very like, this is something I said, but it's so like plainly said that it's kind of funny, but this is really where the work is. It's talking and making relationships and listening. You're going to listen to what people want, and then you're going to respond and figure out how you can best help them based on whatever their needs are. And if they match yours, if they don't, that's okay too. These are not the right people for you. So I'm going to just stop sharing for 1 second. I would love to hear any thoughts you guys have while I get this pulled up. Is this helpful? Drive. Opportunities. So I use Google Drive for everything. If you have ever dealt with me before, I usually send you a Google Drive link for something. So I'm just finding my, so the deal I'm going to show you, this actually deal did not work out. Actually, I don't know if my potential partner is here. She might be here. But anyway, this particular project was something that I was very excited about, but did not work out. This is great. Good stuff. Good. Awesome. I've made some notes. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's huge coming from you. Hopefully this is helpful. So usually we all just need a reminder of all these things. This is not rocket science, but that's really what I want you to walk away with tonight, that this is simple. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen again. So this particular deal was something in the spring. I had really been looking for a side-by-side duplex, which I could renovate, legalize the basement suites, and refinance and keep for 5 years. That was what I really wanted to do. As we all know about all the changes going on in Calgary with secondary suites. But so this particular property came on the market. I was like the first person there. I was there immediately. This is what I wanted. This is what I've been waiting for. It was a block off of Center Street, where we know the future train line is coming up from downtown. So, checks that box. It checks the property type I was looking for. And I wasn't even allowed to actually view it. I called, I couldn't view it. The owner's property manager didn't have the keys yet, but they had listed it. So I was going in blind. They sent me a little video. I said, fine, I'll put the offer in. Put the offer in blind though. I didn't really know what to expect, but I was confident that this was the strategy that I wanted to employ. Now, this was underperforming. So on this pro forma, I put here, this is one of the things in my Google Drive. I showed the property as it is right now. So at the time, I had it under contract for $735,000. I showed just, just the one photo I had when I was there and where it is in Calgary, estimated the expenses based on what I had. This wasn't perfect though. Like I didn't have all the answers yet, but I tied it up so that I could do all my due diligence during the 10 days. So I estimated as best as I could what I thought things were sitting at today. The property was, the lease rates on this property were so low. I was shocked at how low the lease rates were. But it did need work. So I was intending to get rid of all the tenants and renovate all the units anyway. So I didn't really care about that. And I felt good that I could improve this property. So I ran the pro forma just as is, just to show what's happening today. So that's the first thing that I put in the drive. Well, why can't I get back out of here now? Sorry, 1 second here. There we go. Okay. So in this drive, I also included the City of Calgary map to show where the train was going up. The train was going up here. My lot was right here, just so someone could get a reference for how close it's close, but it's not backing onto it for noise. In here, I also have a blank joint venture agreement, which again, this is not going to be the BL and BL document. This is just, especially if someone's there a joint venture agreement, they want to see like at least a starting point. And I make that very clear. We're going to meet with our lawyer. We're going to go through this together. We're going to, if you want separate independent advice, no problem. But I give them something to start with, because again, we want to make this simple. We don't want to make it seem like this mystical, very difficult hill to climb that is just so hard. Like we don't want it to seem like that. So this gives you a starting point for conversation, to start asking questions, how you're going to structure this deal. Yeah, absolutely. Get a letter of intent to get started before you get this JV agreement signed up, because there's going to be a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of back and forth on this, 100%. And the other thing in here is just any other relevant information. So we'll go over this document last, but in here, I put the map of the train extension that I knew was going to be going in. So the property that I was looking at was like right by this 40th Avenue station. It was 4017. So it was just so close to this future train station. And then the MLS sheet, I pulled the title. If you don't know how to pull title, learn. That is something, your realtor can do it. But if you're ever in a hurry or you want to know, it's $10 in Alberta to pull a title. Oh, this should not be in here. I don't know why this is for Canmore. Delete this. Don't worry about that. And then, so what I was planning to do was, okay, I'm going to go to the property. I'm going to figure out what renovations need to be done, how to legalize this, and then I'll build my after pro forma. Now, I didn't get that far because by the time I went to the property and I could access the property, I did it. I had an inspector ready to go. I paid for the inspection myself. And this roof on this building had been let go. It was probably due to replace almost 10 years ago. And literally the structure in the four corners was rotting and it was very compromised. So now this property was not worth $735,000 to me. It was probably worth $550,000 to me. So perfect time. But even though I wanted this deal badly, I knew this is not it. And I've been waiting for this for years. This was not it. And so what did I do? And at this point, I had a partner interested. They were coming to the property with me and we were both excited, but it's like, no, we're pull and shoot. This is not it. We're out of here. I told him I would give him like literally 200,000 less for this building because I could fix it, but not at that price. So deal was dead. But the important thing is I was honest. I was upfront and I absolutely was like, we are pulling shoot. I'm not into this. And I've heard, stories of people where they get themselves into trouble because they don't want to walk away from the deal. Like this was an extreme example, but they're like, oh, I just really don't want to walk away from the deal. Like, I'm so excited. I'm here. Like, don't do that. You will absolutely regret it. It will come back to bite you. And as we talked about, your reputation is everything. Your reputation is 100% of everything. Let me just see what this chat says. So last I saw, they had put it back on the market and it hadn't sold. Actually, I haven't checked in the last few weeks or so. As far as I know, it hasn't sold, but it may have. Yeah. So this particular guy, he was actually, the owner was from Kelowna. He had never been in his property in 12 years. And he was like, so he actually told us that he was gonna fix it and hire someone to come and look at the gate, because it needed an engineer and it needed an inspection, all kinds of things. The realtor was quite difficult to work with at the time, but anyway, say la vie, it didn't work out. I wasn't willing to pay what they wanted out of it. So deal is dead. But this is, you know, I've since then done 3 other joint venture partners, and I've used this exact same structure. And the other thing I do is this document here. And this is, again, how simple is this? This is a Word document. Now this one, Treya and I were planning to do together. So that's why her name is on here if you're not familiar with her. But so in here, I'm just outlining simple. Again, the people viewing this may not know, and I'm happy to share this out, by the way. This is not there's nothing proprietary here. And this is how I do it. I just tell people like what I'm looking for, the purpose. I tell them a little bit about the property, but I'm not writing a novel. You know, they're going to have questions, and you want this to spark conversation. You want they're going to keep asking questions, but this is just to give a high level idea. And then they're probably going to go, well, what does that mean? Well, what does this mean? Well, what about this? Or they're going to go, no, this is not for me. Or I'm not looking to spend 700 grand. You know, I'm only looking to spend 5. So then you can kind of see where it goes from there. Nadine, we did that with a JV partner, also pulled out of the deal because of home inspection. We paid 75. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's okay. You know, you probably saved yourself a lot of money and a lot of heartache, right? So you don't want that. Definitely to be, yeah, exactly. 100%. Always be. If you can't afford to be like losing the inspection dollars, then you know, I think that's more of a concern that we should be, you know, discussing first. So same thing with lawyers. Like always get your own lawyer. You know, I don't like when they say, "Oh, we're going to save you $1,000 on a lawyer." Like, no, you're spending like $500,000 or $1 million, and you don't want to spend $1,000, $1,500 on a lawyer. Like, always get your own lawyer. That's a separate topic. Yeah, no problem, Michael. So this is all I do. I go over it high level, not diving into 100 details. Like I just want them to see this is a 3-page document. If there's any like notes about it that I want them to know, I always disclose. Obviously, I'm a realtor. That's number one. They need to know that. I still can't guarantee anything. If there's any next steps or deadlines to be aware of, put that in here so people know what you're working with, and then break down what you're looking for. And again, it may change. They may go, well, I can't, you know, like maybe they want more cash flow, but they're okay with less equity, or maybe they would take less equity, but they want more cash flow now. Like this is a starting point. So I am looking for a 50-50 partnership here, but you know, again, there's tons of conversations happen after this. This is just to get the ball rolling. So yeah, what do you guys think of this? This is not fancy, but this works for me time and time again. How long does it take you to do up this document? Well, not that long. I mean, once I kind of have my template of how I want to present things, you know, if I found another deal similar to this one, I could use this, but essentially I just do the same things, like spend half an hour on this once I find a strategy or property I'm looking at. And some of these things will stay in here, like things like illegal suites. Like this is something that if someone doesn't know anything about real estate and we're talking about illegal suite conversion, just give them a little background. Okay, fill them in a little bit on what we've been talking about for 3 years. So yeah, simple, exactly. And I cannot tell you how many people tell me they appreciate simple. Just make it simple. So this is not fancy. I actually, when I first showed this, I was kind of like, I was at Rain, and there's many people who do this way fancier than I do, and it's like a show. It's incredible, but they spend a lot of time and energy and money and resources. And if we get to the same result and this works for me and I'm comfortable with this, then I kind of thought to myself, well, then why wouldn't I share it? So that's my 2 cents on it. But this may work for you, it may not, but just another way to look at it. Okay, Ian.
Hey, Natasha, thanks for the invite. I'm always looking to learn, and it's great to be here. My question is this a document that you would take to your lawyer right away, and once you have the template scrutinized, then you just rinse and repeat?
So what I do, and it may depend a little bit. Are you talking about the joint venture template? Yeah. So that joint venture template was actually given to me by my lawyer. So we will adapt it based on that specific deal and property and structure and split. But what I would do is like what Dennis had said, we would officially do just a letter of intent to begin with. We would finalize all those details. Then we would call our lawyer, have a meeting with the lawyers and say, this is what we've agreed on, like lay it out simply in an email. Can you put together the joint venture partnership document for me? And they like, this is another little tip is lawyers will often charge you an arm and a leg to put together a joint venture agreement, even though they probably have a template. They'll say, well, I need to write a whole new document. Like, no, they don't. So, like ask around, ask those questions. Unless you're doing something super complicated, a template to begin with is probably fine. So that's how I do it. But then keep your lawyer in the loop. Like, let them know, like, this is what I'm trying to do. They'll probably tell you what timelines they need to work with and what things to expect in terms of costs and stuff as well. But that's how I do it. Anyway.
Great, thank you. Very informative.
Yeah, good. No problem. What do I got here? Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Do not reinvent what is working perfect. Exactly. Simplicity is key. Yeah. Okay. Wow, I went way longer than I was hoping to go. Sorry, guys. I hope that was helpful. I thought I could give that in like half an hour, 40 minutes, and it's already 7 o'clock. So my apologies. Constantine, do you have anything to add to anything? Because people can weigh joint ventures with private lending, and that's a thing that people need. That's like a decision they need to make on their own. But would you have anything to add?
Absolutely, because sometimes it's cheaper to pay private lenders than give equity of the property.
Yes.
People just don't sometimes realize that until they do a couple of them. It's like, what? Oh my goodness. But that you have to experience through yourself, and then you'll be able to see that. Or you can listen to smart people like Natasha, and she's using private money nowadays, instead of but that's the key. And I've got a bunch of notes. It's a very good, simple presentation. It's been a while when the last time I saw the presentation, everybody showing the numbers and this and that. Like, yeah, but simplicity is key. I like it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Any questions about anything? Any other questions, anybody? No? Does anyone, I think Liz, you said you may have something to show us tonight? Maybe possible deals you might have?
You asked if I was willing to do a pitch, and I said, sure.
Yes. Do you want to?
Sure.
I would love it. Okay, let me just give you, I'm gonna spotlight you here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh, wow. There you go. Continue. There you go. Okay,
right.
so introduce yourself and tell us what you got.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm on headphones now, so it sounds great to me. My teenagers are having a life in the kitchen, so if it's loud for you, because I understand the sound, this microphone picks up everything. So let me know if it's too much. And I'll yell at them.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Okay. I'm not doing a formal pitch with slides and numbers and all that stuff. As Natasha says, this is a hello, get to know me kind of thing. So my name is Liz, and I'm a real estate investor.
Love it.
Start of an AA meeting. Yep, I live in Calgary with my husband and 2 grown teenagers now who are having fun in the kitchen. I'm by trade, training. I'm an IT project manager and business analyst. And I've worked in Calgary here for about 15 years. And when my husband and I first got to Calgary, we could only afford a fixer-upper. So we did that. And by the end of 2 years of big DIY projects, he hated it and I loved it. And at the same time, we found ourselves at a Key Spire event. Again, I'm not going to say he hated it, but it wasn't his thing. And I'm like, I found my people.
Yay.
So yeah, it was like, I went into IT and programming because that worked for me. I was good at it at university. It was a good job. Did all right. Never really could say I enjoyed it. But you know, you're responsible and you have a job, you do what you do.
Yeah.
But was so excited about real estate investing. It was like, this is somewhere I can spend my time, my energy, my focus, and was just really bitten. So did the Key Spire course and ended up buying a fourplex, rented that out. And that was a whole learning curve. And then life and kids and work bit for another few years. So a few years went by and then COVID hit. And I got laid off right at the start of COVID. And I was so excited.
Now's your chance. Yeah.
Right? So I spent the next 8 months plugged into all kinds of courses. And I did all of the Key Spire courses that came out. I ended up joining Ignited. And just as I was starting to really think, okay, looking around at market, starting to identify things and getting team and talking to people, somebody reached out to me and said, I've got an awesome job for you that's perfect for you. And you know, it really was. It was perfect for me. And it was COVID. And I thought I would be so irresponsible if I didn't take this job. So I did. So I'm back to work, and which has confirmed for me that I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
So I have given myself a 1-year timeline. And in order to prepare for this, I've done a bunch of renovations. So we've renovated 3 properties that we had. We've legalized our basement suites. We've pulled out a bunch of equity. I have been talking to a bunch of people. We've set up a team and we have been analyzing some markets and some areas. The 2 areas that I have narrowed down on after a lot of education and research is multifamily buildings around the 16 to 20 unit range. I'm working with another investor and she and I are actively pursuing one now. And Natasha is searching for us in Calgary, and we've got somebody searching for us in Edmonton. So that's one market. Why? Because Alberta has great tenant laws. It's easy to work with people here, but not the best appreciation, as we all know, if you've been around here for a while. However, multifamily buildings, fabulous, because the value of the building is, as probably many of you know, calculated based on the earnings of the buildings, not comparable markets. So the value of the building is in your hands. You can make it or break it.
Yeah, big time.
And it runs so much like a business. I've been doing tenants now for 6 years, and I'm really ready to have, I like meeting tenants. I like screening tenants. I like putting in the buildings. I don't like the weekend calls and the whatever else. So property management on multifamily buildings sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
And being a project manager, that just, you know, fits right in my niche of way I think.
For sure.
The other area I'm looking at is short-term or 4-season cottage rentals in Ontario.
Ooh.
And that's so funny because I was talking to somebody else on the call and she's from Ontario. They're investing here in Calgary and I'm in Calgary and looking at Ontario, but there you go.
Yeah.
It's an area I know very well. Our family have had a cottage there for decades, and it has seen some growth with the recent popularity in cottages, but not as much as most areas in Ontario. However, the numbers in the summer are ridiculous. There is 0 vacancy. And so I was out again this summer and walked around a lot, talked to a lot of people, a lot of the neighbors that I haven't been in touch with for a long time.
Yeah.
There are quite a few people who are selling at this point because they've been sitting in this quiet town waiting for numbers to come up.
Wonderful.
And now they are. So they're cashing out and moving on. And the other thing I like about it is snowmobiling, cross-country skiing in that neighborhood has now taken off. So now you're looking at a 4-season property.
Year round.
So
Where?
right?
Where was that, Liz?
Oh, I'm not telling anybody yet. I see the messages coming. Where's that? I'm like, no,
It's
no,
a secret.
no, no.
That's awesome.
It's a small town. If I tell you all, there's not gonna be anything
Oh,
left.
it's a small town. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
So
Awesome.
anyhow, that is, those are my 2 areas of focus, and that's what we're looking at. So I've got a call tomorrow with somebody who was initially going to sell me his cottage, and now he's like, I have 12 cottages. I run a business. I'm thinking, would you like, how many of them would you like? Like,
Oh, wow.
hang on a second. Let's talk
Amazing.
about the first one. So
So what do
yeah.
you need? Like, what are you looking for out of your partners?
Well, I'm looking for money partners, and given the 2 varieties of types of projects, the apartment buildings are long-term buy and holds for the most part. The cottages, I am willing to, depending on how many we end up looking at, we could do JV on one of them, or I'm quite happy to do private lending, because the ones I'm looking at are older, but they are 4-season, which is wonderful. So
Yeah.
they would need a little bit of a facelift, and given Ontario market, just wait a little bit, you get your money back out.
Yeah.
Most of it anyway. So yeah, I'm fine with private lending for the one deal or JVing on the other
Awesome.
deal.
Awesome.
Either
Amazing.
strategy fits both types of lendings.
Good.
So I would love to talk to people if you feel like chatting, getting
Yeah.
to know more about what I'm doing. I'm on Facebook as Liz Haleboys _REI
Mhm.
or HB_real_investments at yahoo.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz. Well, and feel free to maybe put your email and stuff in the chat so people can copy and paste it. That's exciting. I can't wait. Maybe in a year's
Awesome.
time, we check
Okay,
back
so
in.
this is
We're
my first
accountable.
official public JV presentation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. I just love hearing everyone's stories. And if you ever need any support, like look at this community of people. Like it's so we're so connected now. We're also comfortable online. It's a really great time to find your people. So congratulations. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for being brave and talking to us today. Love it. Does anyone else want to share?
If I can share, Natasha, because when I took
Yes,
like a lot
please.
of notes here for your
do.
presentation, what most resonated with me is shortage of money, right? The people think that there is shortage of money, but people don't think that you need to compare money as an ocean, like you can see here. I live close to the ocean now, so I can show that. If you go to the ocean and you grab a bucket of the ocean and you go and put it somewhere else, you come back and there is like a huge ocean. It's impossible for you to deplete all the water from the ocean. If you put your mindset into this perspective, then I don't have cash, and you might probably say, well, I might not have cash. Remember that what Scotiabank is saying, that you're richer than you think. Every time you drive by Scotiabank, just think about this tagline, because they know something that you might not know. And in terms of relationships, it's very powerful, because I was talking to a guy, he approached us from one of the networking events, and he's looking to borrow money for his project in Edmonton. And he's looking for about $400,000. And he already have money at 8%. And I told him, sorry, sir, like I cannot get you money. I'm paying 8% to my investors. I will charge you more, 10, 12, 16% interest, but it depends on different factors. And he said, I'm okay to pay you more to build relationships. Because he said, I already calculated this into my cost of doing business. And then the reason why he is paying 8% to somebody else, because he built some relationship with them and they give him money. But he said that those people start slowing down. They're not responding to calls and phone numbers and emails fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
He lost a couple of deals because of that. And he is looking for opportunity to explore his network, and he's willing to pay the price for now. So that's very powerful, I would say. And thank you so much, Liz, for sharing this. Like, I'm intrigued, like you have a secret, so I need to know that.
You have a secret. I love that. Good for you, Liz. Love that. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. Who else do we got here? Let's see if I should call on somebody. Ian, what do you got going on?
Well, Natasha,
Oh, we got two.
like Liz, my story, not similar because Liz's story is fantastic. I can't compete with that. I'm a new investor. I did my first deal with your real estate agency, so thank you very much. I bought a condo, two-bedroom, two-bath condo in the northeast part of Calgary, so thank you for that. And in the meantime, before joining, and I'm also a KeySpire member, I went through that whirlwind presentation and did that back just before COVID hit. So I came out of a KeySpire weekend and we were locked down literally the next week. So that was my initiation into the world of real estate investing.
Wow.
Yay.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah, exactly. So currently, before KeySpire, I did everything wrong and bought a condo in downtown Toronto. I'm just outside of Toronto, so it's kind of ironic. Liz says that she's from Calgary, shopping in Ontario for deals, and
Yeah.
I'm in Ontario, Pickering, shopping in Calgary because of two things: no double land transfer tax, that's huge,
Oh,
and
that's huge. Yeah.
COVID. So I can't tell you just how much of an impact it has had here, and affordability is decreasing in terms of where you can find opportunities within the GTA. Now you can go to Windsor and Sarnia and London, but quite frankly, the value, which is what we're taught at KeySpire, is there in other areas, and it's where you're looking for opportunities. So again, Calgary is one place that I looked, and I'm waiting to close the deal in Toronto in the new year. And I'm looking at another opportunity down in the US. So we'll see how that goes. So,
Awesome. Good.
You're talking about vacation rental. So there might be an opportunity down in Orlando near Disney and, that area as well. So we'll see.
Amazing.
That's
Thank
my
you.
story.
Thanks for sharing. Also, for those of you, I think most of you are in the Calgary Real Estate Investing Facebook group. And I know it's called Calgary Real Estate Investing. When I started, I wasn't necessarily thinking, but this has become a Canadian investing group. So I want to support what you're doing. Like if you have something to share, or you even want to go live in the group or something, like let me know if we can use the group at all to get your message out. Like send me a message. I want to help however I can. So please let me know if that's going to be helpful to you, and we can use that as well. Okay, I've got a couple other people that want to talk. So first we're going to go to another Ian, and then we're going to talk to Nadine after that. Okay, thanks so much for sharing, Ian.
Hello.
Natasha,
Where are you?
Too many Ians.
I'm looking for you. Oh, there you are. Hi.
How many Ians do you have on here?
Two, I think. Look at your background. Look at this.
Hey, this was last minute, like literally last minute before I jumped on this. So
Cool. Good idea.
I had my 7-year-old help me color some of this. So it's pretty basic, but it's getting attention, I hope. So
Simple.
yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, my name's Ian. I'm out in Cochrane, just outside of Calgary. We have a bunch of properties, but what we've been doing lately that seems to be working for us is short-term money lending. We have a couple of projects that they're coming up October and November, I believe, where we're basically getting our money back. The projects are coming to end, so we may have some money here in the next month or two, looking to put it to use on another project.
Awesome.
Depending on the type of project, depending on the risk, depends on the returns that we're looking for. But typically we're looking for 1 year timelines. So if anyone has a renovation or, something that they need hard money for, we may have something for you. We don't typically go on title. It's
Okay.
more just hard money lending on renovations for the most part. So yeah, if you're interested, I can throw my contact info in the chat there.
Wonderful. That is a great idea. I like this poster. Cool idea. Awesome. Thanks, Ian. Next we have Nadine. Where are you, Nadine?
I am right here.
There you are. Hello.
Hello there.
Good to see you as always.
Good to see you. I wasn't expecting to be on here video wise, but here I am. You guys get me as I am. My name is Nadine Russell, and I am from Ontario and have been investing in both Alberta and in New Brunswick. And the reason is that we feel that both of those provinces are very landlord friendly. So we have been excited to be investing there. We actually did a deal with Natasha and Kim and got a fourplex in Calgary that we're very excited about. We take possession on September 29th, so that will be awesome. But the opportunity I want to tell you guys about, it was interesting, Ian, that you were talking about Cochrane. We actually just got a 9-unit multifamily apartment building under contract there. So we're just going through the due diligence right now. But the intention is that we will be looking to renovate the units and create some forced depreciation and increase our NOI to bring the value of the property up. And more details to come, but it's looking like closing would be sometime in November. And if anyone is interested, we are looking for financial partners for that.
Awesome. Thanks, Nadine.
You're welcome.
Nadine is a rock star. I can't believe the amount of things her and her husband is Russell here. No, just you representing tonight. Okay. They are just full on into the investment world or everywhere. So happy to have them here today. Yeah, they're rock stars. They're rocking it.
I think it's a good idea, Natasha, because when I was used to run the webinars like that, I put in the chat because some people okay to present themselves and chat, but some people a little bit shy, and might be you can just type in the chat. Like if you're looking for money, you type money. If you're looking for deals, you type deals, and that's how you can connect.
Love that. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited about that one. Cool. Anyone else? There was someone else I thought someone else raised their hand, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Also, I know we normally do a little game at the end of this for fun, and I dropped the ball on that. So I did not complete it. So I'm sorry. Maybe we'll still do a draw or something tomorrow for everyone who attended, just to make up for that. So my apologies on that. And we also have 5 Smith Maneuver books to kind of give away. So awesome. Yeah, everyone, please share your contact info, connect. Anyone else who would like to speak or introduce themselves. Also, this will be we will share the recording. It's going to go out to the group. So just so you know, more people will see this, which could be great. Great deals. Yeah. Awesome. I found it interesting that there's so much cross province investing happening. So Shay and Shay's in Ontario and I'm in Alberta, and I have to give props to Shay. So finding people who are good at maybe what you are not is great. So Shay actually just put together, I'm going to show you this beautiful little website, which she said she threw together in a few minutes a couple of weeks ago. It would take me a month to do this. There's no way I would have done this quickly, but just to show you something that we've been talking about, because we have opportunities now that we're working on in Muskoka, which has come up tonight. You know, the we're going to do a cottage build. So Shay threw this together. And again, this is getting, like we talked about simple, this is maybe more complicated, but to Shay, this was simple. She's like, this was easy. She threw this together. To me, no, this would have taken me forever. So thank you, Shay. You know, find people who are good at the things that you're not, right? That's the idea. But the idea here is if we have, you know, someone who's like, oh, I kind of want to see what you guys are doing, or like, I'd like to check it out. They can at least come on this website now and see just very high level. This isn't complicated information on here. Like, we're planning to build some sort of A-frame cottage like this. We're currently working on all the plans and everything, but we still want people to know about what we're doing. Again, telling people what we're doing, right? As well as we have a 10-plex build in Calgary, which actually I just found out today, looks like our permits were approved for all our secondary suites in this. Just as of today. So that's exciting. And then we have our suite of duplexes here in Calgary as well. So this is something that we can show people that it's not like, there's not a whole lot of crazy information on this. There's not some big presentation, just a little bit about Shay and I, who we are, and the types of opportunities we have to use as a conversation piece, right? So just another idea for you. Maybe that resonates with you, maybe it doesn't, but whatever fits with your skill set, and it doesn't need to be complicated as well. So thanks, Shay.
You're very welcome.
I had a couple questions if I would share the Google Drive that I had earlier. I will absolutely, I'm happy to share that. I can put the link in the, where is it? I can get a link here in a second and just throw it in the chat, and you can feel free to, oh wait, first I'm going to delete that one. There's something in there for Canmore that shouldn't be in there. Any questions about anything that we have covered this evening? Oh, I've got 3 new messages. Let me see here. No, okay, great job on this. Yeah, very clear. It's just, very high level, right? You don't need to get too detailed. So here is the Google Drive that we spoke about. And then the only other thing, if you wanted, I'll put the link to the website Shay and I, or no, not Shay and I, Shay made for our opportunities in there, in case you want to check it out.
I think she beat you to it.
Actually, did she? Okay, awesome, Shay. Good. Now I can't find it. So wonderful. Perfect. Yeah, cool. Well, that's kind of all I have. Unless anyone wants to talk about anything or add anything, love to know thoughts, comments, questions, feedback. Let me know. Tanner and Chelsea, yes. Put your, yeah, they got their info in there. They're an awesome couple. Connect with them.
Natasha, before I jump off from the,
oh, yes,
from the call, it was great. Kind of with your permission, I would like to give this book for people who wants to make $450,000 over the term of your mortgage on top of what you will be getting. You should read this book so it can help you out. So we are partner up with Natasha on that. Need to email her. Please give me a book, you know, on her email, and basically she will introduce, and the first 5 who will do that will get what is called this book, so we can mail a book to you. And as I promised, because it looks like Natasha already sharing your joint venture agreements, we would like to do that as well, but you already have one, because people stopping like, oh, I cannot, you know, do joint ventures because I don't have this, don't have that. Now you have it all. So don't worry about, you can, of course, you need to modify, but Natasha was saying correctly, we just spent $70,000 on lawyers offering, and he's doing, you know, that's the only thing he's doing. He's doing offering memorandums every day. He has templates, but they also charge us so much money for that. So when you get this joint venture agreement from Natasha, just go and modify it to your own things. But I would like to share with people who are, so for the first 5, you'll get this book. For those who will be late, I can send you a 12-page teaser so you can buy it from Amazon, you know, if you will not be fast. So I'm just kind of pulling this time so you can mail Natasha right now. For those who are not, I can put a link for our page there, so you can get management tips on how to pay your debt faster, as well as this book. Like if you're interested, you can click on that and we will text you and email you. That's okay,
Wonderful.
Natasha, with you?
Absolutely. That's great. Look, we've got emails in here. There you go. Wonderful. I just want to thank everyone for coming this evening, and we will have a recording of this that will be posted in the group, as we normally post all our videos, as well as we will kind of do some editing and condense it a little bit as well for our YouTube channel. But love to know what other topics you guys want. We will do the next event again in, probably mid to end of October. So what should we talk about next? What should be the next kind of burning thing? And also, do you guys like this deal pitch idea? Is this something that would help? Is this something that would be useful? Because I want to know what's going to be helpful to you guys. And if, because we could, at the end of every investor social, we could do, 10, 20 minutes or whatever, where everyone gets a few minutes to see what they're up to. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But I'd love any feedback that you have, and I just appreciate you all for coming.